Melonie Mac. How are you? Hello.
Yay! Hi. Doing great. Really happy to be here.
Yay. I was looking at your YouTube channel and you've been doing like videos pretty steadily. Was YouTube your first platform? Because I
Mhm.
noticed you had a like who even knows what viral is anymore, like what the
Right.
qualifications are. But you had this one video, and I wonder if it was your biggest success at the time. It was
Mhm.
from 2013. It was called Fake Girl Gamer.
Right. Yeah, that was my first viral video I've ever
Oh,
made.
wow.
Yeah.
And you talked about you were like, "Ah, this is a title that gets thrown around. This is an insult that gets thrown around, and it's this idea." And I've never been a gamer, really. Like,
Mhm.
I dabbled a little bit. Like, I played Sega Genesis. I played Sonic the Hedgehog. I played a little bit of Indiana Jones. Occasionally, I would steal my brother's Game Boy and do a little Dr. Mario. So I'm not at all pretending to like at all know what I'm talking about, but I love seeing similarities to the comedy industry, and I think I see that kind of in like the nerd world and then the
Mhm.
gaming world, the more people I talk to. And it seems like there's just so much competition, and it also seems like the presence of just a beautiful woman,
Oh,
whether she's good at what she's doing or she's just starting out, I feel like it triggers people. And
yeah.
like I want to hear about your experience because I feel like you're in a couple different worlds of the internet.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of in a couple different spaces, but I feel like what I'm most known for is the gaming space cuz that's what I started with and that's what I put most of my time into and like the whole fitness stuff which has been really fun and exciting. That's more of a newer development for the past like year or two. Um but gaming is at the core of it and I do find that with myself and a lot of opinions that I do have in the gaming space and especially involving women and female characters in games and how I appreciate the very beautiful and even unrealistic beauty standards. I love it. Like look at classic Lara Croft, that like perfect hourglass shape that there's no way any real person could achieve quite that
She's such a
exaggeration.
good example, and I've talked about I
Yeah.
don't know if you know Anna, that Star Wars girl. She
Yeah.
was one of the first people I talked to where she was, like, from the nerd world, and she was like, "No, we need to stand up for these art," and these artists, and can't remember their
Mhm.
names, but they were known for drawing female characters in such because she's like, "It's a fantasy. You're not supposed to have realistic proportions." Like, it's
Exactly.
aspirational, I think, for women. It's a fun fantasy aspect for women and men as well.
Mhm.
So I'm just wondering, like, and I totally interrupt you, but I'm wondering when did you start to notice a little bit of a change, and a little bit of less acceptance for basically like unrealistic or just beautiful women or beautiful characters in like the
Right.
gaming world?
Well, I think it didn't really fully hit me until I don't know, right around 2018-ish. Around the time like Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out, for example. I feel like it really started hitting me then because I've always admired the exaggerated beauty characters and all that, but a- at the time whenever we did start seeing more practical designs, I was fine with it. I was even for it. I was like, "Oh, this is cool. We let's have some diversity here." But then it finally clicked with me that this isn't about diversity. They're just completely shaming even these more curvy and unrealistic beauty standard characters as if this is something that we have to apply to real life and as if anybody who plays a video game is going to expect real women to look like this and things of that nature. And so then I started realizing, hey, this looks like a big push against femininity in general, because when you're really unpacking why do these female characters have such exaggerated proportions, well, a lot of it is just like with cartoons. It's a way to exaggerate certain characteristics. And so someone like Lara Croft, she's that femme fatale, and giving her the proportions that she has is an exaggeration of her being a woman. Just that extra stress, like, yes, this is a powerful woman and she is all woman,
And she's a superwoman and she's extra
Yes.
feminine, and like, why is that a bad thing? And it's like, yeah, it's not simply inclusion, it's not simply diversity, it's like beautiful women, whether real or fantastical, are kind of like shamed,
Mhm.
are it's everyone's kind of more comfortable shitting on them. It's like, yeah, well, some women do have really big boobs. Some women
Right?
do have long legs. Some women do have like a naturally thin kind of like constitution, fast metabolism, whatever.
Mhm.
And that's like okay. And I just feel it's just an overcorrection in a sense. And we see it everywhere from yeah, like gaming to Hollywood to like really, I don't know, I think comedy as well, like comedy content. I see it.
Right.
I feel like there's no way I would get a special on like an HBO or Comedy Central unless I was a super like woke liberal or
Mhm.
I went back to like my man-hating feminist ways, like my
Yep.
fresh out of college, brainwashed sensibilities, or if
Mhm.
I were to like start to transition or be like a very vocal, like I don't know, become like bisexual or lesbian or
Right.
whatever. If you're just
Right.
a regular person, sorry, you're not gonna get a comedy special, and I've kind of, come to grips with that, and I've sort of like, "Okay, now I'm just going a different way." Thank God that's not the only option in
Mhm.
comedy.
Yeah, and I see even a bit of that in the gaming space in general. Just the things that I've said, which to me I consider pretty tame, even are very against the approved narrative. And so me even being as outspoken as I have lately has put me at risk in the gaming space of not getting future sponsor opportunities or not getting hosting opportunities that I otherwise would have before if I just parroted the narrative. And it's just wild to me because you can be a woman in this space and make a tweet and say men suck, they don't deserve rights or something like that, and get 100,000 likes on it and have all the opportunities in the world. But then if you say something else like, I made a tweet not long ago saying, "Hey, as women, maybe we should stop being victims here and stop calling everyone a misogynist because they make a get in the kitchen joke on Xbox Live. It ain't that deep. It's a joke. Just toss it right back at them." And for me to even say that was seen as extremely controversial. And I know every time I make a tweet like that or something like that, that hey, this might risk my future in the gaming space, but I ain't just gonna sit back and not share my opinions on things. Things have completely overcorrected, like you said, and it's just ridiculous right now.
Your Twitter is the best. If you're not following Melonie Mac on Twitter right now, you're missing out because I'm like obsessed with all of your
Right.
stuff. I'm gonna play a
Aw.
little bit of one of your rants where like every word out of your mouth, I was like, yes, yes, yes. And then we're gonna expand a little bit on it.
All right.
Feminism, they say. Defend women, they say. But then when we stand against the erasure of femininity and trying to force us all into one amorphous, genderless blob, no, then we're incels or internalized misogynists. Instead, we're supposed to push for women to be victims, to not take a joke, to be weak. That ain't feminism, bro. You're doing it wrong. Fight for feminism, they say. Defend.
Yeah, it's like you're basically summing up perfectly like I don't know if it's an overcorrection or just
Mhm.
it just seems like a very icky motivation going on here. It doesn't feel like acceptance to me. It doesn't feel I feel like I can only be accepted if I am an angry kind of caricature of a woman.
Right. If you hate men, you are perfectly accepted. I mean,
Yeah, come on right ahead. Here, get all the gigs.
mhm.
And it's like I don't know, I could never pretend to be a certain way just to get work, just to get
Mhm.
specials, just to, like, make more money, and it's interesting that you say that you think you're in danger of losing some work because of even just throwing out, like, a
Yep.
TikTok or a tweet, and it's like, you hear it, and even people in the chat are like, "Oh, Melanie's just saying things that are common sense, like, how would this possibly cost her work?" But what kinds of opportunities do you think having these out opinions,
Mhm.
is, like, really costing you? What do you think you would miss out on?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I've been in the gaming industry for 12 years now. It is very interconnected, and there's a push for a certain narrative. Now some people might have the best of intentions and just kind of fall into it. But there are a lot of people who push this narrative for almost controlling like purposes, because the more that us women play victim, then the more they can control us.